Thanks for waking up with us.
How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to Stand Focused for Jesus. Hope each and every one of you are having a blessed day in the Lord Jesus Christ as always. Today is Tuesday, April 25th, 2023. You know how we do. Sometimes we record multiple videos in one day. The time is currently 12:45, about to be 12:46, and we're back again with a special guest, my lovely wife, and we are going to put her on the spot. We're going to put her on the spot. The first time you heard her in the AI video, that wasn't necessarily on the spot because, you know, it was her dream. But this is definitely on the spot because she did not know that I was going to ask her the questions I'm going to ask her with this video. Right now, she doesn't even know what the topic is. She doesn't know anything about it. She won't know until I ask her the first question. This is something I wanted to do yesterday. Didn't get time to do it. But we got time now. And that topic is, I know her face is about to light up. Modern day women. Modern day women. I wish I would have wrote down all my questions that I had. So I made a post yesterday, and I think I made a video about it. I can't remember, you know, because I'm always making sermons and stuff. Where I'm pretty much speaking and saying that I think I mentioned to you yesterday also, today's modern day women, I believe, are terrorists. That they're terrorists because they have not only weaponized themselves against what we know as traditional values and stuff like that, the core of the family structure, but they have also weaponize other women and men to be a part of their crusade, to be a part of their cause, to bring about this unrighteous destruction of other women. Why is it that? Why is it from the perspective of a woman? Well, first of all, let me ask you this. Do you or do you not agree with the statement I just made? And if you do, why?
The terrorists? I mean, I could say that I agree. I could say I agree because there's nothing really good that comes from their lifestyle. So, you know, I mean, how would you define a terrorist? Somebody that brings terror upon.
Yeah, one that they bring terror upon the world. You know, they're weaponizing. They're suicide bombers. They'll kill themselves and kill everybody along.
You know,
along with them.
You say it like that, then yeah, you're right. You're right, because they do. They destroy their own selves. They destroy their own families, and they destroy others along with them, with their mindset and the things that they do, their lifestyle. So yeah, I would agree.
They'll, you know, kill man, woman, and child.
Yeah.
And we know a lot of the modern day women, they support abortions and stuff like that.
Feminism.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're feminists. 99% of them are feminists, I would say, at least.
They're not feminine.
No,
but they're feminist.
Right, feminist. No, they're not feminine. They're the opposite of feminine, most of them. Or they have the appearance, you know, feminine, but looking feminine, being feminine is two different. It's not the same. Because the drag queens look feminine. They ain't feminine. But anyway, go on.
Why is it that these modern day women, they want a traditional man?
Because most women want a traditional man, no matter what type of woman she is, whether she's modern or traditional. because women want to be spoiled. They want to be taken care of. They want to be treated a certain way, and a traditional man does that. A man that's a modern day man is not gonna do that. He's gonna be like, well, you got it, but I don't know why. Why? Because women want to be taken care of. That's why.
Women want to be taken care of.
Yep, even the modern woman. Even though she might say, I got it, INDE, she still want to be taken care of. She lying.
How do you see and discern how are modern women and their mindset a threat to? I mean, they can be a threat. They're a threat to many different things, but we're just gonna roll with how they are. How do you see them as a threat to the family nucleus structure?
Because a lot of them, they either one or two things. They either single and have children, or they single and they don't have children. So there's the lack of the husband, the lack of the father. So when you keep that going, you keep that cycle going of no father, no husband, no father, no husband, no father, no husband. It's out of God's order. So that's why it's destructive. And then they raise their children that way, and then their children continue the cycle, and and it gets pushed off through media and music, and the people in the music industry, a lot of them, they were raised the same way, so they pushing the same thing. So it's just a continuous cycle of destruction by the modern women. And I wouldn't say that there's no modern women who are married, but most modern women who are married, they probably in a weirdo type situation like Jada Pinkett and Will Smith. You know what I'm saying? Like they're in a, it's backwards, it's flipped. Like Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union. I would say that they'll probably still destroy their homes. Modern women destroy their homes. It's almost impossible not to, unless you just got a puppy dog, like a Will Smith. So that's why it's destructive, because they continue the cycle of leaving out the head, the structure, the order, the fathers, the husband, the way that God said it to be. It cannot be right without the head, who's supposed to be the head.
But in the world that we live in, why should a woman follow that structure? According to what we see overall, they would say it doesn't work.
What do you mean?
It doesn't work with the typical structure with the man as a head and and the traditional values. According to what they say, which is why they say these modern day women they have to step up because the men are not.
They say that it doesn't work, but how would they know that it doesn't work when they don't ever? They've never been in a position for it to work.
Based on what they've seen, most marriages fail. Most marriages go to hell.
It's because of the people's mindset who go through those divorces. If they had the mindset of what God said to what God has put together, let no man tear asunder, then they would stick together. A lot of people, they're not doing stuff according to the word anyway. They do what they want to do. So of course you're not going to see a lot of successful marriages.
But why should they do it according to why should they do it according to the word of God?
Because the word of God is true and it's not going to fail you. Period.
That's what we say, but can we prove that?
Our marriage, yeah, we can prove that. And I'm pretty sure there's other marriages out there that are doing great. I mean, I've seen some.
So what do you say to those that don't believe what we believe? They have the traditional marriage and, they say, okay, we have this traditional marriage and we have this modern day marriage and we don't believe the Bible and it still works.
Because God's word works. They don't have to believe before the word, it works.
Okay. You sure about that?
I'm positive.
I'm a grill. Hey, we gonna grill her, y'all. This is unscripted. I'm gonna get it out of her.
God's word is undisputed. They can not believe it all they want, but their traditional marriage works even if they don't believe it.
And then going back to the point that most modern women, they want a traditional man, which is based on biblical principles.
Yeah, Yeah, but you never hear that come out of their mouth. You won't hear them say, "I want a traditional man." They'll list all the things that they want.
Their list of demands as a terrorist.
All those things that they want is the traditional man or a man who doesn't exist. Like, what do you want? What are you asking for? You're asking for somebody that's in the movies.
Have you ever been a modern woman?
Oh, yes. I've spent I spent all of my adult life prior to getting saved being a modern woman. Yes. Totally. I would have fought somebody to try to change my mind.
How was that experience for you? Since you've been on the other side.
It was a waste of time and a very toxic mindset. A very toxic mindset, especially calling yourself a Christian, Because I've always said I was a Christian my whole life. From the time I could speak, I'm a Christian. Even though I started out Catholic, I still would say I'm a Christian. Being a so-called Christian and a modern woman is like an oxymoron. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And that's what I was. I was calling myself a Christian, going to church, quoting scripture, living like a heathen, having a modern woman mindset, and spreading the toxicity to other women. Because those type of women are magnets to those same type of women. So all my friends were modern women too. And then the music that I wrote, that came out in the music. That's what I was saying earlier about music. It comes out in the music, It's toxic and it spreads. And then the men, a lot of men, especially a lot of weak men, they're not going to come against it because they want to sleep with these women. Not marry them. They want to sleep with them. So they're going to be like, yeah. They're not going to fight what you're talking about. They really ain't got time for it because they're not trying to wife you. Why fight it when they just want one thing?
What about your family?
You talking about modern women in my family?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're everywhere. They're probably everybody's family. Yeah, I got modern women in my family.
I mean, but how do you deal with it specifically? How have you dealt with it? How have you dealt with it in the past, and how do you deal with it now?
In the past, it wasn't a big issue because we were the same spirit, So hey, we could rock together, we could club together, It wasn't a big deal. So we were on the same page when I was a modern woman. But getting saved, and people start to think that you're strange, you're weird, you off. You going left field, So how do I deal with it now? I mean, I just post what I post on Facebook and post what I post on YouTube, and either they like it or they don't. We don't really have conversations about it because in my family, when people don't agree, they don't really talk about it. It just, they just keep it cordial. Hey, how you doing? Good, and then that's it. We don't talk about those things. I probably had a couple of conversations about this stuff with one of my cousins or two. Yeah, two of my cousins, and that's it. And I got a big family.
How would you compare your relationships from prior being a modern day woman to now being quote unquote a traditional or what we would consider a biblical woman who has been married for over 7 years?
My relationships have gotten worse. I would say they used to be great. They used to be awesome. I was welcome, hang out with any and everybody, and I mean specifically my cousins because we're closer in age, not necessarily the older folks, but even those relationships have changed. I would say that when I was a modern woman, an unsaved modern woman, that I was more liked. I
mean, in regards to the men you dated back then.
You say family. You say family?
No.
Okay.
Because I said in comparison to you being married for 7 years.
Oh.
Or maybe I worded it wrong. I can't remember, but your relationships in regards to when you was a modern woman, you talked to the men you used to talk to, and now being a quote unquote traditional biblical woman, being married 7 years.
How what I compared the two?
Yeah.
It's night and day. It's night and day. The relationships that I had when I was a modern woman was a complete, utter waste of time. I mean, yeah, I could say I learned something. Don't do it. That's what I learned. Don't do it. But it's it's like apples and rocks. I don't. It's just different. Like the relationships that I had when I was a modern woman, the men were not. The men were mostly fakes. There was some that kept it real and just real thugged out whatever. But most of them, they were fake Christians. They said they loved the Lord, but they didn't love the Lord, and they could not and would not be able to lead me or any other woman to the Lord. Does that keep a man single? No, of course. Men and women get together all the time. But I'm just talking about it being a Christian, being a woman of God. You have to have a man that is serious about the Lord, serious about his walk with the Lord. And in my past relationships, none of them were, and neither was I. But in my mind, I thought I was, so I attracted people that were fakes like myself. And now I'm born again and I'm with the real one. And it's much better. It's so much better. I mean, in every aspect. In every aspect, it's better. And I would say that it's worth it. It's worth trusting the Lord and not having a modern woman mindset, because that'll just get you with baby daddies and dying alone.
Why is it better? Because a person can make the argument that, for one, that works for you or works for us. They can also they can make the argument that, how do I word it? About submission. They can make an argument about, well, I don't want to submit, because they say that, oh, if he's this and that, then I will submit. But the overall problem is the submission to a man. He got to make 6 figures, then they wouldn't submit, but they won't submit to him if he don't make 6 figures, yet his spirit is in the right place.
Well, I would say that most women that say they're lying anyway. They're lying. It doesn't matter how much money he makes. It's about how she sees that man. It doesn't matter. He can be a 9-to-5er. He can be 100,000, or he can be a millionaire. A woman over time, if she does not respect that man and see him as her head and submit to him from the beginning, before she's going to revert back to not submitting to him. You see it with people. A woman will get with a man. He's got all this money, and then eventually she'll divorce him and try to take half his stuff. He make all that money. He's all those things on her list, and she'll still do that. So that's a lie. Women are just saying that because they don't want to submit. They don't care what kind of money you make. Modern women don't want to submit to a man. So she's lying.
How do you define submission?
Obedience, obey, follow, just like Christ. It's the same. It's the same as a person saying, "Well, what does obedience and submission mean to you with the Lord?" Well, do what the Lord tells me to do. It's the same with a husband. It's no different.
So what if it's something that you don't agree with? Because there are many decisions I've made and you didn't agree with it.
I just speak my piece and keep it pushing. I mean, a woman shouldn't try to override or overtalk or twist a man's arm. When a wife doesn't agree with her husband, speak your piece in love, of course, not, disrespectfully. Respectfully speak your piece and keep it pushing, and then bring whatever it is in prayer. That's what I do. I bring it in prayer. Period. How does it work out for me? It works every time. Does that mean that every decision goes in my favor? Yes, every decision goes in my favor, but it may not be what I wanted as far as the answer. Like if I say, well, we should do it this way, you're like, no, we're gonna do it that way. We still do it that way, the way you said, but it still works out in my favor, is what I'm saying. It always works out in my favor because the Lord loves me and you love me.
Do you agree with prenups?
For the world, yeah. For believers, no.
Why not?
Because if you love somebody, you're gonna take care of them no matter what.
Anything can happen though.
What do you mean?
Let's say, you know what I'm saying, you find out I got 4 or 5 baby mamas out here and I got 4 or 5 children you don't know about. I'm saying hypothetically.
I know. I'm just saying, like, I still don't. I don't believe in prenups because one, I don't find that in the Bible. Two, if you love that person, you're gonna take care of that person. That's just period. You know, if you're a billionaire, right, and we already married, but say we, got married and you were already a billionaire Christian. I don't believe that if something happened that you would be like, oh, you go live in a box, and I'm just gonna, I'm gonna keep my billions and you're gonna be just broke.
Well, what if I did? What if I say, you know what, this ain't working for me no more?
That would make you not the man you say you are. Because a man who loves his wife is gonna take care of his wife even if he does something wrong.
But how would you handle that though? What would you do?
What do you mean?
If I say, you know what, this ain't working for me, you're not, whatever, you're not satisfying me, I don't want to be with you no more. And I'm taking everything, I'm taking the house, I'm taking everything. You can keep the van.
I pray first. First I pray. And then if you continued on that path for longer than what I think is fair, then I would be forced to expose you. Why are you laughing?
She said expose me. And then what?
Nothing. I would trust the Lord.
I'm talking about I'm taking everything though. Only thing you can keep is the van.
Because I know the Lord got me. I don't have that. I don't fear losing everything because I have everything because I have the Lord. So you can take everything. I'm still gonna be fine.
But
I'd be sad without my children. I would be hurt without them. But as far as material things, I know that the Lord would take care of me. He would. He's not gonna just let me, because the Bible says so.
So
the Bible says He won't let His children beg for bread. I'm His child, so I know I need to be begging for bread. I'll be fine. So
is that a form of modern day, being a modern day woman? Because you like, I don't need a man.
I didn't say I didn't need a man. You said if you left me with nothing.
Look, I'm gonna throw you for a loop now. See if you're paying attention.
No, I trust the Lord. I mean, it's not like I left you and said I don't need a man. If you left me with nothing, you know what I'm saying? I trust the Lord. I have to. Everybody that calls himself a Christian has to put on the mind of Christ and believe what the Bible says. You have to trust the Lord. If you saying, I trust the Lord, everything's good and things go bad, and you're like, oh, now I'm depressed and I'm gonna go live in the sewer because my husband left me. That means you don't trust the Lord.
I had a question on the tip of my tongue. I forgot, so maybe I'll come back around to it. Children that grow up into men, and we know the type of women are in this world today.
Children that grow up into men. Did these men start out as boys?
Yeah.
Okay, so they didn't start out as girls. That's not what you're asking me.
No.
Okay. Children grow up. Okay, what's the question?
Children growing up into men, becoming men, in a world full of modern day women. For example, you got 2 boys that are growing into men in the world that's full of modern day women.
Okay, hey. I would never, as long as I got breath in my lungs, allow my sons to date, court, bring home a modern day woman. So right now they little, right? Right now they 1, 2, 3 years old. I'm not talking about my children. I'm talking about the modern women. The modern women are 1 and 2 years old right now. And one day my sons will be grown. They're 3 and they're 6 years old. In 20 years, they'll be 23 and 26. And these little 1 and 2 year old women will be 21, 22 years old. and they'll be worse than probably their mothers that are raising them right now. And my answer is never. Never, never. The thing is, me and my husband right now raise our sons and teach them what is right and what is wrong. And even concerning women. Like, I've shown them pictures, and my husband too, we've shown them pictures of women and say, this woman, tell me what you think. Tell me what you think. And what do they say? Well, she's pretty. Or they'll say she's ugly. Or why she got that on her face. Or what is that? You know, so they ask questions and we tell them. There's certain things that to me is very important. And a woman that is fake on the outside, she's almost 99.9% probably fake on the inside. And that's not the type of woman you want. And I know you probably like, well, what's wrong with, weave and lashes and fake nails? It's fake. That's what's wrong with it. And I mean, if a woman can do it and still look like herself and not go overboard with it, I probably wouldn't have a problem with it. But from what I've seen today, it's like a horror show. It's like a scary movie. And I saw one, I think it was a couple of days ago. It was this chick, she looked like she about 60 years old. And they put makeup on her and she looked 25 at the most. And she looked busted without the makeup. She didn't have no eyebrows. Her hair was messed up. I mean, everything about her was she looked like, I don't like to use the word ugly, but she was not cute. Okay, she was somebody like, men are visual, right? Men like attractive women. A man would probably look at her and be like, no way. But when they put that makeup on her and did her hair and put them lashes on her and drew her eyebrows on, she looked like somebody else and she looked beautiful. And any man that's single would probably pursue her based on her looks. But as soon as she took that makeup off and that weave off and them lashes off and them nails off and her eyebrows off, he would probably run and hide. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not right. And so that's why I say, for my son, no. They will not bring home, date, court, be seen with, I pray, I hope, with a married woman because they're taught now to avoid those type of chicks. So, no.
What happens if they decide for themselves once they get older?
No, they're going to problem with mama then. I'm going to be like, let me talk to her. I'm going to talk to her. I'm going to talk to her and I'm going to tell her about herself because I'll be able to tell. And hopefully they'll be able to tell too. And, within a few days or weeks, cut her off and not waste time with women like that that'll destroy you. Women like, I tell them that now, women like that can and will destroy you. My own brother is going through something like that right now. And if he hears this or watches this, he know. We all know. Destroyed by a woman.
Do modern day women have self-esteem issues?
I would say so, yeah. I think they're delusional. They're delusional because they'll fight with you about their makeup and their hair and their nails and their lashes and all this stuff. They'll fight with you about it. And then if you bring up the topic, self-esteem, I'm a 10. Well, if you a 10, then why you need that? Then crickets, they ain't got no answer for you. I'm still a 10 without it. Okay, well then take it off. They're not going to take it off. They're not going to walk around without it.
Is makeup and weave exclusive to modern day women?
No. Makeup and weave is for any type of woman. It's just they go overboard with it. They make it where a man would probably not want to deal with a woman who wears makeup at all because they go overboard with it. With both, with the weave and the makeup. And the lashes. The lashes make you want to slap somebody. Like, dang, you ain't got to do all that.
They slapping you with the lashes.
Right, they slapping me with the lashes.
You finally got a daughter.
Yeah, I'm holding her right now. She's sleeping.
What are you going to do to prevent her from becoming a modern day woman?
Be an example. I'm going to be an example for her and tell her. Just like we tell our sons, I'm going to tell her. This is the type of woman that you want to be right here. Look, it's in the scripture. It's in the word. This is what you want to be. This is what you want to model yourself after. Because if you model yourself after the world, you're going to be in a world of trouble. You're going to be heartbroken. You're going to be going down the wrong path. And you're trying to figure out why you keep attracting these type of dudes. So I'm just going to tell her. And I'm going to tell her how I used to be. And I know. From personal experience, I know.
what happens with, I guess, within you, or how would you handle it if she became, let's say, like the prodigal daughter, where she goes out and
She better not become the prodigal daughter. I'll beat her. I would have to pray for her, because obviously there's no, you can't stop a grown person, right? You can only pray for them. You can stop a child, but you can't stop an adult. I would just pray for her. Pray that she'll remember everything that you and I taught her. That she'll get it. Maybe it might take a bad experience for her to, bump her head and be like, oh, daddy and mommy was right. Let me go home. Sometimes that happens. I'm okay with that, as long as it's not a life and death, horrible. I pray there's not nothing like that. Just as long as she come back.
Come back broken?
She can come back broken as long as she come back. As long as she come back, because there's a lesson in everything. I mean, I learned mine. It took me 30 years. It took me 30 years to get it together. But it took me getting saved. I didn't get it until I got saved. It wasn't like I got it, like I got the picture first. I got saved first, and then the Lord showed me that everything I learned was backwards. Everything was wrong. Everything was worldly. And I had to relearn everything.
What role have men played in the creation of the modern day woman?
I'm laughing because I saw a short video, and I think they were some guy, I don't know who he was. He was like, yeah, we blame the 90s R&B music, because the 90s R&B music is really it's crying to the woman. I'll do anything,
And all my life, baby.
Remember that song, I can't stay, I can't go.
I mean, even in the 60s, Al Green was crying.
Yeah, but you
Was Al Green in the 60s? Or that
70s? Yeah, but I mean, it's always been going on. But they did a video where they were blaming the R&B music from the 90s, wooing the women and crying and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I laughed, and then you asked me what responsibility do men have to play in all this? I would say, well, it's men's fault, number one. And I say that because of the scripture, because the Lord said that he would allow the women to pretty much become like this because of the disobedience of the men. So that's first. First, if the men were right, the women would be right.
So who's more at fault, the men or the women?
The men. The men are.
The men in general, or the modern day men?
Men. The men who are, I don't want to say non-believers, but men.
Men not being men in general have led to the creation of the modern day man, which has led to the creation of modern day woman.
Yes, men. Yes, men. Not modern day men, because modern day men are the result of my daddies, and you know what I'm saying? Like, the children are what's the Bible say? The children are basically the product of the parents. So if the parents didn't do their part, then that's what you see. That's why they said with single mothers that the majority of the prisons are filled with men who were raised in a single parent home, mainly by their mothers. And that's a scary thought, especially since a lot of black women who are mothers are single mothers. It seems like they want to stop this train wreck that's happening.
Whose fault is that there are so many single family mothers? Is it the single mother's fault, or is it the so-called father, baby daddy?
Both. It's both of their faults, because the women aren't impregnating themselves. So it's both of their faults.
Says both, y'all. Y'all heard her.
Yeah, it's both. I can't say it's just the women, because the women didn't impregnate themselves, and I can't say it's just the men, because the women allowed the man to do what he did. It's not like, all these children are conceived in RAPE. These children are conceived by consenting adults who wanted to do what they did.
What other role have men played in the creation of modern day women?
Allowing it. Men not being men. Not stepping up. Back in the day, back in my grandfather's day, even in my daddy's day. My daddy's old, old school. My dad was born in 1941. My dad was old. Back in the day, men didn't play that. Men, they spoke, like if something was, if a woman spoke out of turn or said something that was off, men said something. They'd be like, no, woman, they would make the woman excuse herself or tell her no. Today, women say crazy stuff and men just roll with it. And why? I believe, one, because it's soft, and two, because they don't want the women to leave. They don't want to miss out on the booty.
If a woman makes more money than a man, does that give her a place to check his balls?
No.
Why not?
No. Because she's still a woman. Money doesn't change the gender roles. Money is just
It's a new world.
convenient.
It's a new world. So gender roles are, they fit how they fit these days, right?
For the modern day woman and the modern day man, yeah, sure. They can do whatever they want to do because they're going to do it anyway. But for a believer who is a woman that makes more money than her husband, no, because he's still the head. She just makes more money. Even Proverbs 31 woman said she did real estate, right? She could have purchased some land and they, gave her a check for $1 million. Does that mean she's like, all right, I made the money now, so this is what we're going to do? No. She made the money. She probably gave it to her husband. Said he was known at the gates. He was a well respected man, so I'm pretty sure she was listening to her husband and submissive to her husband.
What about a man? A man that makes, a higher level of money.
And his wife?
Yeah.
What's the question?
Does that give him the right to trick off?
No.
Why not?
Because
A man gonna be a man, right? That's what they say.
well, we talking about believers. The unsaved man, yeah, he gonna do that. That's exactly what he gonna do. But a man who's supposed to be a follower of Christ, no, because that's not what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to love his wife. The Bible speaks against adultery. So a man tricking off and he's a married man, even if he's a single man, the Bible talks about fornication. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter single or married. But definitely married, he should not trick off because he makes more money than his wife.
So
like the Trumps do, right?
So you're saying that money doesn't give him the right to sleep with and be who he wants to be with?
No. I think Kevin Samuel said that it did, and I disagree with that.
Care to expound on why you disagree with it more?
Because it's not right. No, and neither party, whether if a woman makes more money, doesn't give her the right, and no man is gonna say, yeah, she can do what she wants because she makes more money, and vice versa. A man makes more money. No woman, no wife is gonna be like, okay, yeah, it's cool, he makes more money than me, so he can do what he wants. That's not right. It's, whether a person knows he's doing it or not, it's not right. Because it's adultery. It doesn't matter how much money he makes.
How do you define modern day men?
Modern day men are weak. They're weak-minded. They're simps. They let women run over them. They side with whatever sounds good, in my opinion. I mean, to me, the main thing what I see is modern day men and women. It's like they swap. Like the women are hard, the women are strong, too strong. The men are weak, the men are soft. When it's supposed to be the other way around. Modern men are feminine. Modern women are masculine. They can wear the longest weave, 10-foot eyelashes, and they still will be masculine. You know what I'm saying? These modern women, they so beautiful on the outside, but they still masculine. They'll, punch a hole through your eyeball. And then the modern men, tight pants, look like they pants tighter than a woman sitting next to him. You know what I'm saying? And they're just opposites. It's like they swapped what they're supposed to be. The woman's supposed to be submissive, she not. The man's supposed to be the head, he not. He's submissive. He's soft, he weak, he's feminine. It's backwards. That's what I see. A modern day man is a simp.
What's wrong with simps?
You might as well be a woman if you're gonna be a simp. Might as well just go on over on the other side and be a woman. The world doesn't need weak men. The world needs strong men. You can't build a world like that. You can't have fathers raising strong sons like that. You have a country full of weak, limp worms. If you have weak men.
Talking about like the world we live in?
Yeah.
Especially in America?
Yeah, because a weak man is going to be... A woman will put her foot on the neck of a weak man. Women will do it. We'll do it. You know what I'm saying? Because women don't like weak men. They don't. Even strong women don't like weak men. They don't.
What is it about a woman doing that? Why does she seem to get pleasure out of running over a man if she can? If it's a simp, she's gonna take him through the ringer. What is it about that?
Because deep down, women feel and know that men are supposed to be stronger. And so if you are not, whether it's intentional or unintentional, a woman feels like, I'm better than you. I'm better than you. So I'm going to hurt you. Because you ain't supposed to be like that. No way. I'm sorry. I hate to say it, but that's how women feel.
No, we want the truth. they coming for it. Make sure y'all look. I'm going to go ahead and get that plug. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, and share the video, cause you ain't gonna get this nowhere else right here. Yeah, you don't get this raw and uncut.
A woman will step on a man's neck if she feels like he is weak, because you're not supposed to be like that. It's almost like, in a way, like she's punishing you for being weaker than her. I know that sounds sick, but women will do that.
How'd you benefit from it when you was a modern day woman? Yeah. Uncut, raw, not filtered. We ain't got, look, these questions coming off the dome. They ain't got nothing written down.
How did I benefit from it? Well, okay, so.
Put them up on game now.
I'm ashamed of my, my previous life. So I don't really I've never really talked about it for real. Using men. That's what I could say that I benefited. So that's not really a real benefit, but it was a benefit because that's what modern women do, right? They use men. And so that's what I did. And I used men for, you can pretty much say money, because men will exchange money for what? Sex, right? Sounds like prostitution. But that's what men do. Men will spend the money until they get to their end goal. And so men would do that. Men would take me out, take me here, take me there, spend money here. Here's money, here you go. Men would do that because what they wanted. And I would take their money. I'm sorry, I did.
How do modern day women use sex as a weaponized tool of manipulation?
Because modern women, probably all women, know that that's what men want. So that's how women use it. If men didn't want it so bad, and I know that.
Well, how did you use it? How did you use it specifically? How did you use it specifically? How did you?
I dressed a certain way. I dressed like a woman of the night.
So would you agree with the point of me saying that you use your natural femininity and you weaponize it in the form of being overly sexual?
Yes, because I knew that that's what men liked, and I liked the attention. I got so much attention it wasn't funny, but I used it to get what I wanted.
What'd you do specifically? How did you weaponize it? You said you dressed a certain way. Was that it? I mean, what else?
I dressed a certain way. I carried myself in a feminine way. I would say that I was feminine in the way that I looked. I was feminine in the way that I spoke, but I was masculine in the way that I thought. You know what I'm saying? Like,
conquer,
Yes.
kill to be killed.
Yes.
I'm gonna eat you.
Yes.
You know, you got my way.
Yes, but I didn't speak to men disrespectfully. Like I wasn't that type of woman. Like you see some of these videos, women are like, you know, going off on men. I didn't put my finger in men's face. I wasn't disrespectful. I was still respectful and feminine. So men like that because, like, oh, she's pretty and she's feminine and she's respectful.
But it's part of the game.
But it was part of the game. I'm a sophisticated hoe. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what was going on, and I'm pretty sure they knew it because it's not like, you know, I was getting, you know, wedding proposals every week, but that was what I did.
That was a good
and
one.
It worked.
Sophisticated hoe.
I've used that in my posts or in my blogs.
Y'all, you heard it here first.
Yeah.
Modern day women are sophisticated hoes.
Yes, because the outside is what draws men in. The sophisticated part. Look how she walk, look how she carrying herself, but have a
she got her own.
Right, but have a conversation with her, get to know her, and then I would say probably day one, a man will see that this sophisticated woman is really a
sophisticated hoe.
She's a fraud, you know, because a man, I would say, especially the places that I used to go, I would be in places that probably the average person wouldn't be at because I was in the industry. So men might see a sophisticated woman and think she might actually be sophisticated. But then when you get to have a conversation with her, then you realize, oh, she's just like all the rest of them. You know.
What about the over sexualization on social media, Facebook, stuff like that?
What about it?
You know, anything. What's
my thoughts on it?
Yeah. Is that a part of modern day women and how they carry themselves, or is that just, you know, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I would say it's a result of the feminist movement. You know, the liberation. You know, free women, let women do what they want, be sexual as they want to be. That started back in the 60s. I don't know what year it was, but it was at least the 60s. So when that started. It took women on a continuous
downward spiral.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say train. You know, they got on a feminist train, and they just kept going and kept going and kept going. So back then it was, you know, Aretha Franklin, R-E-S-P-E-C-T. You know, back then it was, I want respect when I come home, but you a woman, you already supposed to be home. But anyway, you know, I ain't gonna go there. She said she wants some respect when she get home back in them days. And then it goes from respect to, you know, Destiny's Child, shoes on my feet, I bought it. You know, so you got R-E-S-P-C-T to I-N-D-E-P-E. Can I spell it right? I-N-D-E-P-E-N-D-E. You know what I'm saying? So you got from respect to independent. And all of these feminist movements have only caused modern women to get worse and worse and worse. Weave has always been around. Weave has been around probably since Egypt, right? Weave is not a new thing. But the drag queen movement, the men who wanted to look like women and go dance and do all that stuff. Women today, modern women today, look like drag queens. They don't look like the women of Egypt. You know, they don't look like more beautiful women. They look like drag queens. You know what I'm saying? They look scary. And so social media is just showing you women all over the country, women all over the world who jumped on a feminist bandwagon that started back in the 60s or the 50s or whatever. Women want to be liberated and show off their body, but then they want to get mad when they end up in relationships that are dead end. Or men are always hitting them up, always, you know, sliding in their DMs, but you putting your half naked body for people to see it, and then want to get mad about it.
Why? Because men are
visual people, and then they use that to get what they want. I guarantee you, women that be doing that kind of stuff are getting money from men to pay their bills or eat or whatever it is they're using the money for, to get more weed, to go fly and get a BBL or whatever.
Are women just as visual as men?
in a different way. Women look at men visually to see what he got, not, like men will look at a woman and be like, okay, breasts, booty, thighs. But a woman will look at a man and be like, car, house, money, so visual, but visual in a different type of way. She's watching you to see what assets you have and not necessarily your six pack, and your arms. Like, yeah, your arms, your chest, your six pack, those things do draw a woman in, but that's not necessarily going to make a woman think that you got money. You know what I'm saying? Women are looking at, can you take care of me? Do you have money? How much money do you have? Okay, you're well built, but if you're well built and you driving a certain type of car, a woman might be like, oh, he probably live with his mama. Yeah, I'll sleep with him, but I'm not, so it's different. Women are visual, but not visual the same way or for the same things that men are visual.
For the same reasons or whatnot, right? They're not visual for the same reasons.
They're not visual for the same reasons, right? But yes, women are as visual as men, but not focus on the same thing.
Are they more visual than men?
I don't know. I don't know. I would say no. If you're talking about physical beauty, I would say no. What do you think? You think women are more visual than men when it comes to physical beauty and appearance?
Today's women are, because they spend more time. Beautifying themselves, as we call what they call beautifying themselves,
putting on really making themselves more ugly, but yeah.
Yeah, a lot of times, and then we even see women. We be like, she look better without the makeup.
Yes, tons of times.
And because of what happened with Adam and Eve,
what?
She saw that was good. Eyes and everything, good for food and stuff like that. But and that was it.
Oh, I thought you had one more for me. That was it. This is fun.
You threw it back to me. You should have kept on going. You asking me. You got.
I thought you had another question.
Nah, I got to run to the job too. It was spur of the moment. You had any more? You got any closing thoughts?
Did you have any more questions?
Not off the top of my.
Good questions.
Not off the top of my head. We can all do a part 2. I think they will thoroughly enjoy this. They have thoroughly enjoyed it.
Okay. All right.
You got any closing thoughts or comments?
I used to think feminism was good because I didn't know any better. I thought feminism had to do with being feminine and had to do with women's voting rights. I just thought it was a good thing, and then the Lord showed me after I got saved what feminism was really about, because I never had looked it up before. But I looked it up after I got saved, and I realized that pretty much my whole life I was a feminist, and I was being raised as a feminist. So part 2, we can talk about how I was being raised as a feminist and didn't know it.
So with that being said, God bless each and every one of you in Jesus Christ's name. As always, stay focused with Jesus. As you know, the truth is not debated, it is declared. We out.